Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Tonight I'm going to talk about XML. I was triggered because I had a colleague who asked and said, actually he did not ask, he said, oh, but XML, this is kind of some old stuff, right? No one uses XML anymore. It's just JSON from now on, right? XML, that's like a legacy format that will not be used in the that is not used today and it will not be used in the future. And that triggered me a lot because JSON is or XML is an awesome format, and it will be used. I think we will never get rid of it because it is an awesome format, and it's a format with a schema that have had very few or actually no changes the last like 19 years. There was no need for that. We have a 2001 standard actually that is being followed most of the times. And just to show some of the examples of programs, if you just search the web for XML import export, then there are a lot of programs will come up, and this is not old programs. This will be new programs like InCopy from Adobe, which is if you don't know it, then it's a tool for collaborating between copywriters and editors. Of course, it is possible to export a file to XML. So that was just one product. Then we have another product right here, Final Cut Pro, which is an editor program for Mac. Again, here use XML to transfer projects in Final Cut Pro, right? And here's the explanation of that it's a video editing program if you're not familiar with this piece of software right here. Then we have Excel. Of course, you can import and export data, XML data to and from Excel. And if you use the open document formats, then also Microsoft has they're using the docx format, for instance, which is actually XML also. So that we can just try to search for that. Just place it right here. Docx format. So that means that all of the Microsoft Office, all of those files, they're saved in the X format. That means that they'll be saved as XML, and that is since 2007. So since Microsoft Office 2007, and it's not just the doc, it's also the spreadsheet and the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint is the PPTX instead. So it is definitely used, and you can also go, if you go to Spring Initializer, if you're a developer, then and you choose Maven, a Maven project, maybe you choose, we can select some dependencies right here, so we can add some stuff right here. We added Lombok, we can also add web, Spring Web like that, and then we can say explore, and look at this file right here, pub.xml file. Look, it is again XML. And it is quite beautiful. It has a begin tag, it has an end tag, and this is called element when you both have a begin and end. And I can show you the reason why I actually really like XML. And here, this is just a simple scheme. If I want to represent the usual spaceship that I use a lot of times in my programs, then I can create, first of all, the first line, always have this line right here, where it says which version of XML we'll be using, and it's always 1.0, because there's not been any need to actually extend this version. I know there's a 1.1 out there, but it's not needed. It's in 99.9% of the cases, and again, this is my feeling of the situation. It's not a statistical measurement or anything like that, but in most cases it will just be version 1.0. And then we have an encoding, which is UTF-8, because I would like to use Danish characters. And then we have, and then we start with schema, and we also end with schema right here. So this is my schema. This is my definition of my data. I define something called a target namespace. This is something unique for my schema, and it can be whatever I want, but it just needs to look like it needs to follow the UI standard. So it needs to look like a URL. And then I can create some other namespaces. That means that I can actually use this. You can see the standard right here. The XML schema is from 2001, and it still works because we can express whatever we want to express with this standard from 2001. It's 19 years old. That means we have a lot of libraries. We have a lot of support for this There's a lot of documentation, there's a lot of forms out there that describes how XML works and how we should create schemas the right way. And this is awesome. It's a huge strength. So instead of looking at this as old and bad just because it's old, we should actually look at this as matured. That's how I look at it. And I really like XML. I also like the other data formats. It's not that. Then we have an element. So this is our root element right here, and I'm calling this my spaceship. And then I'm saying this has my custom type, which is my spaceship type right here. And then I have created this complex type right here. Complex type means that my spaceship will have sub elements, it will have elements under it, or it will have attributes on it. Attributes are the stuff that we put. For instance, this is actually an attribute what we have here. Name is an attribute of element. It is extra information that we place inside the begin tag. So here we have a complex type, and then I want to have all of these sub elements right here. I want to they need to be there. I do not care about the order. If I care about the order, then I need to write sequence instead. Then I can have a sequence and then say the mean and max of 0, and we can then the order actually means something right here. Yeah, and we can also set. It's also mean the max occurs right on it right here. Right now here I'm creating I say that I have a model right here. Of course I can have it in the standard is actually to have it in lowercase usually. So you have your fields in lowercase like this. So we have fuel, captain, model, and then I have the model is my custom type because on my model I want to have some attributes, or one attribute at least, and then my captain is just as the default string, which is a part of the XML schema standard from 2001. So this is every time I write XS for in front, then we're using this namespace right here that we have right here. That means I can just write XS right here. It's so much shorter than having to write the whole namespace all the time. So we just use an XML namespace definition instead. Then we have the fuel right here, which is an integer. So then we just use the built-in type int right here, XS int. And the model type that I created right here, or that I'm referring right here, that is being created right here. So here I'm creating the model type. I'm saying that this is complex content because it is an extension of string, and then I named and this means that it's actually a string. The data, the content of the tag is a string, but I also want to have the opportunity to add this attribute named visible, and that's because I want to say if my spaceship is visible or invisible. Maybe it has an invisible cloaking field or something around it, and then it has a type, which is the built-in type boolean of this attribute right here. Of course, this could also be our custom type. If you want to have a custom type as an attribute, that is also possible. And here we have the use that is optional, and that is the default. That is why it's gray. We could also have required. That means that we need to say if it's visible or not. If we're using default values, we actually do not need to mention them, but I did that anyway. This means with this piece of XML now, it is 100% certain what I need to do in my XML file. If I have an XML file that follows this format right here, which I, just by coincidence have right here. I have my spaceship right here. And here I am defining the XSI, which is XML Schema Instance. And the reason why I do that is because I do not have, in the old days, it was actually the opinion and the idea was actually that you would actually locate, you will place your schemas on this target namespace that we have right here. But this is almost never the situation. Usually you would be handed out a zip file with all the schemas. Of course, you can be lucky that they are on the right location. Of course, they are with this. The original schemas definitions and the namespace right here. Of course, they point to the right place. So if you go to that URL right there, you would actually get the XML Schema Instance definition. But I do not have this domain at all, so it's just a URL. So that means that then I actually say that this target namespace right here, it is actually located on my own disk, actually in the same folder. And then it's named myschema.xsd. That is the name of the file. So that means that this is this file right here that I point to, and I can have as many of these as I want. So this is just it's a set of namespace and where they are located, and I can have as many of those as I want to. And that is by using the XML Schema Instance. Then we have the spaceship right here. I'm defining a namespace. XML and S stands for XML namespace, and then I say this is my spaceship. I'll just call this SP, and then I point to the target namespace, spaceship, and then I have a default namespace right here, which I can just delete. If you write XML and S without any without any letters, without a colon, then it's the default namespace. But I'm actually not using that, and I don't like default namespaces that much. I actually prefer to have explicit namespaces, because then you're sure about what you're doing. But I have some errors right here, and the reason why I have my errors, I can actually also check my errors. I can say validate right here. Then I get my errors down here. It says we do not have the model type. It's not present, and so I need my model type. And again, look, this is IntelliJ. It's built in. Also, I'm using the Ultimate version, but if you use the Community Edition, it is actually built in there also. So you can just download IntelliJ Community Edition, and then you're good to go with. And then you get an XML and XSD parser. So, and that is again one of the big strengths with this format here. It's covered by most by a lot of tools, of course. Okay, first of all, let us give it a model. Should it be visible? Yeah, it is this spaceship right here. It is visible. And what you actually saw here, this is it's a self-closing tag, because it closes in the same line. But we actually want a begin and end tag. So if you can have a begin and end tag, then you do like this, and then you can give it a model, like maybe this is a pyramid-shaped spaceship. And then again, I can create my captain right here, and that of course could be Mike. And then we can have some fuel percentage, which could be 55%. So we need to fuel up at some point in the future. Then I can re-evaluate by pressing the yellow button, right, or the green button right here. But I say here model type. Complex type. String is a simple type. It's because actually I created a wrong definition of this complex type right here. Let me just let us make it a bit more simple. We could fix it, but we could also just say that I'll just do this. It is actually, I think it's because a simple type. You should use that, but I'll just make it more simple now. So now it only has an attribute. It does not have any content right now. So that means that my model type, it has an attribute, but it does not have any content. So I'll just go and remove this data right here. So now my model, it just has an attribute, visible or not visible. And then I can fix I'll fix my XSD file afterwards. I just want to show you that I really like XML. I really like XSD, and I really like that we have so many tools and libraries that actually matches this format right here. Let me just press right here. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening. I hope to see you again soon. Bye bye.